Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. This is Mitchell Baker from Modal. I'm one of the customer success managers here. I'm located in Chicago, and I manage our Midwest market, and we have Seneca Giese here today from Current Automotive. And Current Automotive is one of our dealers that we work with here in the Chicago area. So they're located in Naperville, Illinois, and they work primarily with used EVs and plug-in hybrids. They've been a customer with us since July of 2019, and they actually use our checkout function for 100% of their sales. So whether it's an online lead that comes in natively or a showroom lead, they're sending all of their sales through there. And it's actually increased their average monthly orders by about 82% since they started with us last summer. I met Seneca about probably 8 years ago at Tesla. So he started there as he worked there for 9 years. And he actually helped launch their certified pre-owned program for North America and also worked with their fleet remarketing. And he co-founded Current Automotive with Trip Jacobs in July of 2018. And like I said, they're located here in the Illinois area. And if any of you have ever been to a Tesla showroom, their approach is kind of consultative and, rather than being very salesy. And Current Automotive kind of takes that same approach with being consultative with their clients and educating them about EVs, since that's a relatively new type of vehicle to the market. So we have a couple questions that have already been sent in. But we are going to be taking other questions from the audience. So if you want to send those in using the chat feature at the very bottom of your screen, we'll open those questions up towards the end of this. All right, so we're going to start with our first question. Seneca, why did you decide to use an e-commerce software?
Thanks, Mitchell, for the intro, and thanks for having me on the Fireside chat to the whole Modal team. I should state that prior to Tesla, I also worked at a traditional dealer, Continental Motors Group, Nissan store in the Chicago suburbs as well. So I had a very significant base of knowledge of traditional auto before going to Tesla. And then while at Tesla, seeing this not only new type of vehicle being electric and the kind of questions and process that people go through deciding to buy that car, it was a very good understanding of both sides of the spectrum of automotive retail. And when deciding to start Current Automotive, we saw that there was going to be a large opportunity nationwide, not just locally here in Chicago metro area. And we decided the best way to serve those customers is to make a very clean, elegant user interface on our website and allow the consumers to get all the information up front without having the need to input their information, sort of this quid pro quo, give me your info and then I'll give you the information you're looking for with the price or availability. We update our inventory in real time if a deposit is placed on it. Our team has the authority to go into the back end of the website, mark it pending sale. So you'll see that if a car has got a deposit pending sale on it right away. But the ability to just click the button, purchase vehicle, and see the estimated taxes and fees is a huge customer service boon for us. Just in chat with customers, they're like, this is so amazing, love this. And we just think that that's the way forward.
Yeah. So one thing I didn't mention, Current Automotive is actually one of my customers that I help support. And one of the things that I really like about your website is just how clean the design is. So you have our 3-button stack there to purchase vehicle, build out your payment, which takes you into the payment calculator. And then you have our value trade button, which takes you directly into the trade tool. And that's one thing I like, is just the clean design of it and how easy it is to use. as well as, how easy it is to go through the process of actually purchasing the vehicle. What was your role prior to Tesla at the dealership? Were you in sales there, or were you more on like the F&I side?
Strictly sales. And I remember the old days of with a calculator and scribbling the price, tax, doc fee, license and title, and flipping that around and showing it to the customer, and obviously then negotiating back and forth. Um, I should note that our pricing strategy at Current is one price, no haggle, fair to market, and we turn our inventory so fast. I think a combination of our expertise of the product, the web interface, customer experience, and the purchase process all combine to make it easy for customers to make the decision to move forward, compared to the old days of, sitting across from somebody with a piece of paper and, passing it back and forth with offers, and then going to the manager and saying, is this approved? Can I sell the car for this price?
Yeah, definitely. And I know your process is a little bit different, since you do work with a lot of customers that are out of the area, and 100% of your sales are actually going through Modal's checkout tool on your website. So how does your test drive process fit into the equation?
Yes, we advertise on the traditional platforms, cars.com, car gurus, and we see walk-in traffic at our location in the Chicago suburbs frequently. We have walk-ins every day. And uh, while somebody may have seen a vehicle on a different platform like Cars or Car Gurus or Carfax, we always bring up our website on our iPad in front of the customer. So it's the same experience whether they're at home on our website or in our store on our website, or on their phone, perhaps riding in the car looking at our website. Nothing changes. But if somebody comes in, they're welcome to drive all of our vehicles and compare and contrast different EV offerings. And then whenever they settle on a vehicle, we go right to the website on our iPad, sitting down at a table with them, and go through the vehicle display page and start looking at price, tax, title, license, and any trade if there's a trade. But yeah, test drives are an important part of our business, just because EVs are so new for most people that we're marketing to.
Yeah. And I mean, if you've ever driven, I know you have, and I have, but if you've ever driven an EV, just the feedback and feel of it is a lot different from an internal combustion engine. Do you find that you have more leads coming in through internet versus just in store, or vice versa?
We are heavy on internet marketing. So through the various platforms, advertising platforms I mentioned, as well as just organic through Google. Somebody types in, used electric cars near me, we're generally organically at the top of the search results through how popular I guess we've been, and one of the only doing what we're doing. I can't think of another retailer in the United States that's only doing electric or plug-in hybrids. There are other retailers that sell electric cars and plug-in hybrids, but they also sell a ton of gas vehicles. We will never sell a gas vehicle.
Do a lot of those internet leads typically end up coming into the store to test drive it? I know you all ship quite a few cars to customers, so do you have a fairly large number that will never set foot into the store and just do everything digitally and over email, or what's that process like?
I would say over half of our business is internet out of state. In the early days, almost 100% of our business was internet out of state. But as word spread and more people locally started to see our presence here and started purchasing cars, word spread like really fast. And So I would say we, in the last year, have seen a huge increase in local business, but we still have a large percentage of out of state. Um, and that's primarily driven by our Tesla inventory, and a lot of Tesla prospects and customers have already driven a car, so they generally know what they're looking for. And as long as we can comfort them, the car is, you know, accident free, no major blemishes, reconditioned, and you know, factory warranty passes on to them. It makes it an easy decision for them to purchase sight unseen in the flesh.
Okay. And what were your expectations prior to launching with Modal? Because I know you all had been open for about a year before you started working with us.
Yeah. So candidly, our website was built by Dealer Inspire, and they offered a similar product called Online Shopper. And we wanted to modify how Online Shopper took the customer down the funnel towards the purchase decision. And a lot of our requests could not be met because of how we wanted to take the customer. I think what we've seen with a lot of larger established companies focused on digital retailing is they're creating a template of sorts and essentially just inserting their dealer customers into those templates. We really love the flexibility of working with Modal on certain things to modify our purchase flow to meet our unique customer journey. And that was sort of the expectation in early discussions, that those things could be done and completed. And that's why we jumped on, and we love it. Our customers love it. We've got great feedback across the board. And if anybody on this call is thinking about going onto Modal and perhaps going to a one price strategy, this is a no-brainer.
Okay, great. Are there like any specific aspects of it that you particularly like, or that were able to like be more customizable to your store?
Well, it helps that the colors are very similar to ours. that was awesome. But I think the, you know, sourcing the taxes and estimated registration fees based on where the consumer is looking or searching from is super helpful. And the way we can customize the flow of the products that are offered to them as they go down the purchase funnel was key for us.
Okay, great. I think we've got one or two other questions that I want to ask before we hand it over to Q&A, but I just wanted to remind everyone again, there is a chat button down at the bottom if you'd like to send in any questions for either myself or Seneca. But what do you think some strategies, what are some strategies dealers can do to help hold in their front end gross?
Yeah, this is a tricky one. You know, it's a hyper competitive market. Cars are somewhat commodified these days. And I think making it exceptionally easy for consumers to get the information they're looking for. One of my pet peeves when I visit other websites, sort of cross-shopping similar inventory that we have, is this barrage of text and pop-ups, and it distracts the consumer from the whole reason for their visit, which is to see and learn about the car they're trying to potentially purchase. So reducing that clutter, you know, I think what this boils down to is improving the customer experience online. I think a lot of dealer websites, again, are built on these templates, and you know, there's this thought that you need to get customer info up front in order to close more sales. You know, just power through leads. But I think if you just build a ton of trust up front by giving the information up front versus, you give me your info first, I think leads to a lot of trust. And that's how we've been able to easily have tons of front end gross on every sale that we have.
Yeah. And I know more and more dealers are moving towards the one price model, from versus negotiating on pricing. We get a lot of feedback from some of our dealers that they find more of their customers that go through modal checkout or adding F&I products up front on their own, as well as when they actually come in to pick up the car, or if it's a remote delivery, when they actually speak to someone in the F&I office. Do you find that that's also true for you? Are you seeing a lift in the number of customers that are adding upgrades and F&I products?
Absolutely. We see a lot of customers self-select gap. That's easy money for us. There's a lot of extended terms on Tesla vehicles with the trade-in, some with negative equity, and just in the purchase funnel as they flow through the checkout process, it's the first thing they see. Are you financing? And then you want a total loss protection, and it's just a click, and then boom, it's on their order. We also offer XCare, which is the first third-party vehicle service contract on Teslas, and a lot of customers self-select that option as well. Although we do have to give them a quote after they select it. It doesn't tell them what the price is in the checkout process, because depending on the term. So those are, again, key revenue generators for us, gross generators for us in the checkout process.
Yeah. We do, along that line, I do have a question from Steven. He wants to know how you're handling the F&I upsell process.
So our sales process is unique in that if a customer walks in or comes over the internet, that one person handles the customer from start to finish, including the signing of their paperwork. We do not have an F&I office here. So the team member at Current sits down with the customer and goes through the checkout flow with them and is explaining the option as they proceed through the flow. And our team is incentivized on each product that they get the customer to take. And so it's a soft sell, it's not a hard push. Our majority of our profits at Current are front-end gross based on our expertise of the cars we're selling and customer service up front. So the back end is not a big focus for us yet until we probably grow larger, and that'll be an easy area to target and try to improve closing percentage on F&I products.
Okay. And we have another question from Drew. He wants to know if you think the EV market is uniquely positioned to benefit from digital retailing tools because of less price sensitivity.
It's a great question. I would say 100%. I think EVs and the buyers that purchase them are interested in ease of ownership, hence the reason for going to electric, but also the ease of buying the car as well. And I hope that we are somewhat of a role model for others that choose to enter this space and provide just easy customer experience. And I think price sensitivity wise, I'd say there still is some price sensitivity. The majority of our sales are Teslas at 40,000 and above, or the low range EVs priced below $15,000. 15 to 40,000 is a bit of a gray area for us. Some of the cars in that price point tend to hang out longer than the others on the other ends of the spectrum. So there still is some price sensitivity in the EV space.
Okay. And we have another question from David. So he wants to know, can you incorporate OEM incentives in the desking tool? I think in your case, you don't really have any OEM incentives, right?
Pre-owned only here at Current, so no incentives. Um, but that is actually a great question because there are some incentives for used EVs in certain states, but they're
Mhm.
not related to the sale price of the car. They are incentives post-sale that the consumer would receive as a rebate or a tax credit. And that is something that we are looking into incorporating just in terms of information for the consumer while they consider the car.
Okay. I can jump in on that as well. So for our dealers that we work with, that do work with new OEM manufacturers, we can incorporate any deal incentives like dealer cash rebates, incentivized interest rates. We're actually partnered with Payment Driver, and they send us over all of the manufacturer incentives. And we have another question from David. What percentage of customers complete the purchase online?
So maybe you can clarify the question because if a lead comes in from cars.com or car gurus and they want to purchase the car, we redirect them to our website and tell them to click the purchase vehicle button because that is going to give us all of their information, registration address, credit application. They upload their driver's license and insurance, then we are able to generate the purchase docs and FedEx it to them. If they don't do that, I don't know how else we would do it otherwise. So it's almost, we tell customers, you have to do this to purchase from us.
Mm-hmm. So you're at almost 100% then.
Well, even, so if a consumer doesn't do it, then we're doing it for them, on our computer, on our website through Modal.
Okay. And we have another question. F&I profit is key to a traditional dealer. How do you protect back-end profit?
Yeah, I think I kind of touched on this a couple questions ago. We understand that and are definitely increasing our back end profits over the last several months, and I think it's a result of the self-serve aspect of Modal's flow through checkout. Albeit, once the customer's here in our showroom, then we are coaching them or suggesting certain products as a F&I manager would in the office. We're just sitting next to them with the iPad and explaining what each product is, like you see on the screen. Gap coverage, it's only going to change their payment a certain dollar amount per month versus the total cost. And that's super helpful.
Okay. And sorry, I got a clarification on our last question regarding the
Okay.
percentage of customers that complete the purchase online. So he was wanting to know, can you get approved online? We have two different types of approval processes that the customer can go through. So we have it set up to where it will send the credit application directly to the dealership, and then they can submit that on their own to whichever banks they choose to. Or we have a setup called instant financing, where when a customer completes the checkout process and submits that order and credit application, it'll automatically send it to the banks of the dealership's choosing, and then it can auto approve or deny that customer based on their credit application.
Yeah, we're interested in pivoting towards what you just described, Mitchell. But for now, once a customer applies through our checkout process, we go into our dealer track, check the bureau, submit the application to the lenders, and then return with the final terms of the purchase.
Okay. Yeah, that's most of our dealers that we work with are set up that way. So you can kind of, self-select which banks, or, if you have multiple banks that you want to send it to. Doesn't look like we have any other questions right now. I want to thank all of you for joining us, and thank you, Seneca. If anyone does have any other questions that you think of later, feel free to send those in to us and we'll send you an email or give you a call back to answer them.